The track is now clear at the skeleton start for our first of 3 4-runner sleds. Sled and track from the skeleton start. That's our first 4-runner in the track now. Attention spectators trackside, we want to welcome you out to the Utah Olympic Park. Race day here in Park City, Utah. A little bit of fresh snow overnight. This wind is just whipping some snow into the track. So very different conditions than we had yesterday during our official training session. Spectators, just a few safety reminders. There's no standing on, climbing over, or leaning under any fence, barricade, or shade that surrounds the track. Please refrain from throwing any objects at or around the track, including snowballs. No snowballs at or around the track. Most importantly, never enter that track surface for any reason. That's for the safety of our athletes. Spectators, the best place to spectate is going to be at the top of the lower loop. That curve 12, we've got the shades open for spectating. So if you're just joining us, walk up that road to the top of the lower loop. Curve 12, shades are all open. That was our first 4-runner down. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for our second of 3 4-runners. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Be about 5 minutes out, 5-minute warning for our first competitive sled. It's going to be Sin Rong Lin. That second 4-runner crosses the finish line. I want to give a big shout out to our track crew, getting that snow cleared from this track, maintaining that ice so it's perfectly manicured for sliding. Also, a big thanks to our 4-runners, helping us get ready for today's race, testing our timing system, making sure everything is in place for our official competitors. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for our third and final 4-runner sled. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Two-minute warning for Sin Rong Lin at the bobsled start. 2-minute warning. track is now clear at the bobsled start. Sin Rong Lin, Wei Ching Cheng. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Kristen Banowski, stand by, please. In the track, bringing down the first sled for North America's Cup Race 5 two-woman bobsled. We've got Sin Rong Lin, start time 5:82. She's going to be setting the bar for our competitors here today. We've got seven sleds for this first heat. The race will be based off the combined downtimes between heats 1 and 2. Fastest sleds from heat 1 will go at the end of heat 2, reverse order by rank. The conditions today, quite different than they were yesterday during the official training. Got lots of snow and all this wind makes for a different driving experience. We'll see which athletes are able to adapt. Take home one of those top spots today. Sin Rong Lin, downtime 51.80. Breaks down the run out. 51.80. 6 sleds remain. Spectators just joining us now. Curve 12, top of the lower loop. It's open for spectating. All those shades are open in curve 12. Just no standing, climbing, or leaning over any fence or barricade that surrounds the track. And do not enter the track surface for any reason. Thanks and enjoy your time here at the Utah Olympic Park. The track is now clear at the bobsled start for Kristen Banowski. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Riley T-Jack, stand by, please. In the track representing Canada, we have Kristen Banowski and Eden Wilson on the brakes. Start time 5:61 as they make their way to 1, 2, and 3. Now coming out of sunny, curve 4. Excellent line. They're about 0.4 of a second ahead of the pace. They come out of curve 6. That's snowy, and it is living up to its name today. Excellent line at a 6.7. They hit the 10-11 straightaway, 81.2 miles an hour. Now 0.6 of a second ahead of the pace. Through that Olympic curve, that's curve 12, and Dinger, 13. Great line, 0.7 of a second ahead of the pace. 78.3 miles an hour, hitting our second speed trap out of Slingshot, curve 14. Get across the finish line with a downtime of 50.72 seconds. Taking over that top spot, we have a new leader, Kristen Banowski and Eden Wilson, 57.2. The track is now clear at the bobsled start for Riley T-Jack. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Agnes Campiol, stand by, please. In the track representing the United States of America, we've got Riley T-Jack, Aiden Fossum on the brakes. Start time 5:88 as they make their way through 1, 2, 3. Maybe a little brush. Sliders right at a curve 3. Comes into cutthroat 5. Nice line into 6. About 0.3 of a second behind the pace. Little hit coming out of curve 6. That'll affect her downtime, take away some of that momentum she's carrying off the top. 80.3 miles an hour through the 10-11 straightaway. Little high out of 11, puts her into the wall right before 12. She's able to get it under control at a 13, about 0.6 behind the pace. Real big slide out of 14. Climbing that final curve of the track, crossing the finish line 51.98, puts her back in third place at this time, 51.98. The track is now clear at the bobsled start for Agnes Kempiel. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Adana Johnson, stand by, please. The track representing Thailand, we've got Agnes Kempiel. Start time, 5:88. 5:88. Coming out of 1, 2, now into 3. About 4/10 behind the pace. Exits curve 3 in the sunny, curve 4. Good line through Cutthroat. About 6/10 of a second behind the pace. Excellent line as she enters the Labyrinth curve, 79.8 miles an hour. Through that 10-11 straightaway. Looks like the wind picking up a little bit. Little late out of 11. It's under control by 12. Excellent line through the Olympic curve and dinger. Out of 14, she's still got 75.4 miles an hour. And that sled up curve 15, crossing the finish line, 52.32. 52.32 puts them in fourth place. The track is now clear at the bobsled start for Adana Johnson. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Iran Kim, stand by, please. In the track, sliding for Jamaica, we have Adana Johnson. Shauna Mills on the brakes. Trouble into curve 4. About a second behind the pace. She exits Cutthroat, curve 5. Good line coming out of 6 and 7. 77.9 miles an hour. The track conditions today are much different than they were yesterday. With this snowfall and wind, makes for a different driving experience. Donna Johnson driving her sled out of curve 14, 74.6 miles an hour. Up that final curve of the track, curve 15. Downtime 53.46. 53.46 puts her in fifth place. Track is now clear at the bobsled start for Kim Uran. Sled in track from the bobsled start. Del Debo, stand by, please. In the track, sliding for Korea, we have Kim Uran, Unji on the brakes. Start time 5:79. Puts him back about 0.4 of a second as they come out of snowy curve 6. 81.4 miles an hour. Hitting that 10-11 straightaway. Excellent line out of 11. Coming up to the Olympic curve. Beautiful exit out of 12-13. Now only 0.3 behind the pace. She's got a lot of speed coming out of 14, 80.1 miles an hour. Might be enough to take over one of those top spots. It is 59.6, 59.6. That puts her in second place at this time with 59.6. One sled remains. Current leader is Kristen Bunowski. She had the 57.2, 57.2. That's the time to beat. Track is now clear at the bobsled start. Simi Agdebo. Sled in track from the bobsled start. Bringing down the final sled for Heat 1. Simi Agdebo, Dewi King on the brakes. Start time 6.59 seconds. And through 1, 2, 3. Good line out of curve 3. Going to be our final sled for Heat 1. North America's Cup Race 5 two-woman bobsleigh. Run number 2, Heat 2, is going to be going to be reverse order by rank. So our fastest sleds from this first heat will go at the end, Heat 2. Top speed, 77.4 miles an hour, not coming out of Dinger. That's 13. Good line out of 14. Now going through the shady thicket. That's our low point of the track. Little tap out of 15. Across the finish line, 54.01. 54.01. Let's recap. After our first heat, your unofficial top 4. In fourth, we've got Riley T-Jack with a 51.98. In third, Sin Rong Lin with a 51.80. In second, Kim Uran with a 59.6. And your leader after the first heat, Kristen Bunowski with a 57.2. This will be a 5-minute warning. 5-minute warning to our first 4-man sled. That's going to be Adam Edelman. 5-minute warning. Attention athletes, coaches, officials, and spectators up at the bobsled start. There's a black Toyota Camry that's blocking our trucks up at the bob start area. If we could get that black Camry moved, please. Two-minute warning, 2-minute warning. Adam Edelman at the bobsled start. 2-minute warning. Attention spectators trackside, welcome out to the Utah Olympic Park, both here live in person and in our live stream on YouTube. Thanks for watching here today. We're going to be back to racing here real shortly. Just a few safety reminders. Please do not stand, sit, or climb on any of those fences or barricades around the track. The wooden buildings, decks, and metal grates that surround the track are for coaches and athletes only. No spectating from those metal grates or wooden decks that surround the track. Most importantly, never enter the track surface for any reason for the safety of our athletes. Enjoy your time here at the Utah Olympic Park. Track is now clear at the bobsled start for Adam Edelman, Team Israel. Sled in track from the bobsled start. Jeff Gadbois, stand by please. Bringing down the first sled for this first heat, North America's Cup Race 5 4-man bobsled race. We've got Team Israel, Adam Edelman, Zach Gordon, Evan Greenberg, Ragnar Sturgis on the brakes. Start time 7.43 seconds. Just the brakeman pushed that one off the block. 7:43 was the start time. 81.3 miles an hour as they hit our first speed trap headed into the labyrinth curve. Excellent line through that 10-11 straightaway. They'll be setting the bar for today's race. Good line through the Olympic curve, curve 12. During the 2002 Olympic Games, the Olympic rings were embedded into the ice in curve 12. Crossing the finish line, Team Israel 52.93, 52.93. The track is now clear at the bobsled start. Jeff Gadbois, Team USA. Sled in track from the bobsled start. Edson Indalachi, stand by, please. In the track representing the United States of America, we've got Jeff Gadbois, Holland Storms, Brian Soso, and Hakeem Abdul Sabor on the brakes. Start time, 5:15, 5:15. Ballistic start time, hit that curve 6. Gonna hit our speed trap, 83.5 miles an hour. Once again, spectators, we've got quite different conditions today as opposed to our training day yesterday. All this wind and snow makes driving that sled quite different. Good line out of curve 14, still holding on to 83.3 miles an hour as he crosses the finish line. 48.51, 48.51. Team USA, Jeff Gadbois, taking over the top spot, 48.51. Track is now clear at the bobsled start. Edson Indalachi, Team Brazil. Sled in track from the bobsled start. Jay Dearborn, stand by, please. In the track representing Brazil, we've got Edson Indalachi, Edson Ricardo Martins, Rafael Souza da Silva, Eric Gilson Viana Geronimo on the brakes. Start time for the Brazilian team, 5:08. They're ahead of the pace by 0.07 of a second. Come out of curve 7. Beleza. Beautiful line out of curve 7. 83.5 miles an hour, holding on to that lead, 0.08 of a second coming out of curve 11. Nice line through 12, the Olympic curve, and now out of Dinger, 13. Back by 100th of a second, 82.1 miles an hour. Where will they be in the standings? 48.59. That puts them in second place by 0.08 of a second. 48.59. Track is now clear at the bobsled start. Jay Dearborn, Team Canada. Sled and track from the bobsled start. Chris Horn, stand by please. In the track, we've got Jay Dearborn representing Canada, Brandon Lowen, OB8, and Andre Clark Bastian on the brakes. Maybe a little bit of trouble getting into that sled after they pushed off the block. Good lines into the labyrinth, 83.5 miles an hour, only 0.3 of a second behind the pace. Exit curve 11. Good line out of 12, now into Dinger, 13. Still about 0.3 behind the pace. Looking for some speed out of Slingshot. That's 14. 82.4 miles an hour. They're going to cross the finish line, placing in third at this time. 49.04. 49.04. Track is now clear at the bobsled start. Christopher Horn, Team USA. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Shane Fisher, stand by please. Track representing the United States of America. Got Christopher Horn, Green Adam, Josh Williamson, Peter Powell on the brakes. They make their way through 1, 2, 3. They're 0.3 of a second ahead of the pace. An impressive lead. They come out of curve 6. That was the fastest push time we've seen so far today with that 4.95. A little bit of a slide through that 10-11 straightaway, 83.9 miles an hour. See if that affects their downtime. Quarter second ahead of the pace, coming out of Dinger, 13. Hugging that sliders left up through low point, only 1,500ths ahead of the pace now. Crossing the finish line with 900ths to spare, 48.42. 48.42, we have a new leader. That's Christopher Horn, United States of America, 48.42. Track is now clear at the bobsled start. Shane Fisher, Team USA. Sled and track from the bobsled start. Reese Peters, stand by please. The track sliding for the United States of America, we have Shane Fisher, Trevor Chase, Tim Monroe, CJ McNeil on the brakes. Coming out of curve 4, 58 behind the pace. Snowy, curve 6. Excellent line out of 7. Into the labyrinth curve, 8, 9, 10. Little brush, sliders right in that 10-11 straightaway headed into 11. Excellent line out of 11. About a second behind the pace. Top speed of 81.8 miles an hour. They hit curve 14. Now that long straightaway at the bottom of the track. And then climbing up curve 15. Crossing the finish line 49.73. 49.73, that's going to put him in 5th place at this time. Time repeats that 48.42. That was Christopher Horn. 48.42. Track is now clear at the bobsled start. Reese Peters, Australia. Sled in track from the bobsled start. Cyrus Gray, stand by please. In the track sledding for Australia, we have Reese Peters, Tyler Cohen, James Van Dyke, Hayden Dark on the break. Start time, 6:29. 6:29. Come through 4. Now Cutthroat, 5. Just over 2 seconds behind the pace. We'll see where they land in the standings. Good line out of 7. Into that labyrinth. They are upside down out of 10. Sled has gone over in 10. There'll be a hold on the track. Sled's still got quite a bit of speed as it makes its way down. 5-minute warning, 5-minute warning. We start back up with Cyrus Gray, 5-minute warning. 2-minute warning, 2-minute warning for Cyrus Gray at the bobsled start. 2-minute warning. Track is now clear at the bobsled start. Cyrus Gray, Team Canada. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Get him at Palakai. Stand by, please. In the track, we've got Team Canada, Cyrus Gray, Luke Budo, Chris Olmstead, Cesar de Guzman. On the brakes, start time 5:44 as they make their way through curve 4. Excellent line coming out of Cutthroat, curve 5 into 6. About a second behind the pace. Current pace being set by Chris Horn. That's that 48.42. That's the time to beat. 48.42. Cyrus Gray coming through that 10-11 straightaway. Excellent line out of 11. Through 12, the Olympic curve. Little touch out of 12 puts him high in 13, but he's got it under control. Good line out of 14, 81.9 miles an hour. Up our final curve, curve 15. Crossing the finish line, Cyrus Gray. Team Canada, 49.76. 49.76. Track is now clear at the bobsled start. Kitimet Palakai, Team Thailand. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Grady Mercer, stand by, please. Kitimet Palakai in the track, Team Thailand. Start time 5:21. 5:21. Head down through curve 3. Little bit of a drift through the 3-4 straightaway. About 0.6 of a second behind the pace as they come out of curve 6, snowy. Excellent line at a 6.7, 81.3 miles an hour. And through the labyrinth curves. Good line through that 10-11 straightaway. We're seeing today which pilots can adapt to this winter weather we're having here on this beautiful, snowy Saturday here in Park City, Utah. Finishing for Team Thailand, 50.04, 50.04. That puts them in 7th place at this time. Team Thailand. The track is now clear at the bobsled start for Grady Mercer, Team USA. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Suk Young Jin, stand by, please. In the track, sliding through the United States of America, we've got Grady Mercer, Deep Red, Caleb Fernell, Jace Johnson on the brakes. Good line out of curve 3. Their start time was a 5.21, 5.21. Puts them back about half a second as they go through sunny, cutthroat, now snowy. Good line out of curve 7, 81.7 miles an hour. They take that 10-11 straightaway right down the middle. Good entrance into curve 11. They stayed on the curve a little too long, put them into the wall out of curve 11. Still holding on to 78.5 miles an hour as they cross our speed trap out of curve 14. Little high out of 15. They're right side up as they cross the finish line 50.04, or 50.03, correction, 50.03. That puts them in 7th place at this time. Track is now clear at the bobsled start. Suk Young Jin. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Shane Pitter, stand by, please. In the track, representing Korea, got Suk Young Jin, Lee Kyungin, Park Jung-hee, Jung Woo on the brakes. Start time of 5.10, 5.10. Come out of cutthroat, now curve 6. Excellent line out of 6. They're 0.3 of a second behind the pace. Coming through that 10-11 straightaway, they just hit 83.5 miles an hour. Good line out of curve 12, now dinger 13. behind the pace by only 1/1500ths. They might take a top spot as they cross the finish line. It's going to be a 48.50. 48.50. That places them in second place. Back by only 800ths from that first place spot. 48.50. Sport of luge is measured to the thousandth of a second. Bobsled and skeleton measured to the hundredth. 48.50. The Korean team's downtime, putting them in second place currently at this time. Track is now clear at the bobsled start. Shane Pitter, Team Jamaica. Sled and track from the bobsled start. Bringing down the final sled for Heat 1, Team Jamaica. We've got Shane Pitter, Tyreek Buckner, Jeffroy Dowdye, Rodane Arscott. Start time 6:51. 6:51, just the brakeman pushing that one off the block. Good line through Cutthroat, now into curve 6. About 2.5 seconds behind the pace, but a good line out of 6-7, 81.3 miles an hour through that 10-11 straightaway. Good exit out of 11. Now into the Olympic curve. Little sideways out of 13 into curve 14, but a good exit out of 14. 79.4 miles an hour. They're going to cross the finish line with a 51.83. 51.83. That's going to put him in 10th place at this time. Let's recap after our first heat. Your unofficial top 4. In fourth, we've got Team Brazil. That's Edson Bindalate with a downtime of 48.59. In third, Jeff Gadbois, United States of America, 48.51. In second, Suk Young-jin of Korea with a 48.50. And your leader after the first heat, Chris Horn with a 48.42. We'll be back in approximately 10 minutes. It's going to be a 10-minute warning to our 4-runner sleds. 10-minute warning. We'll be back with our 3 skeleton 4-runner sleds. It's a 5-minute warning, 5-minute warning to our first of 2 forerunners. 5-minute warning. Two-minute warning, 2-minute warning to our first of 2 forerunner sleds. 2-minute warning. Attention, spectators trackside. Welcome out to the Utah Olympic Park. You're braving the storm here on this wonderful Saturday snowy morning here at the UOP. Just a few safety reminders before we get started with our forerunner sleds. There's no standing, climbing, or leaning over or under any fence or barricade that surrounds the track. If you're here spectating, head up to curve 12. We've got all the shades open for spectating. That's at the top of the lower loop. Please refrain from throwing any objects at or around the track, especially snowballs. No snowballs at or around the track, and do not enter the track surface for any reason. That's for your safety and the safety of the athletes. Enjoy your time here at the Utah Olympic Park. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for our first of 2 forerunner sleds. sled and track from the skeleton start. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for our second and final forerunner sled. Sled and track from the skeleton start. This will be a 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning for our first competitive sled for Heat 2. It's going to be Simi Degbo. 2-minute warning. Another big thanks to our forerunners. It helps make sure that timing's all working, everything's set for the track for our first competitive sled. Spectators, this is going to be Heat 2, reverse order by rank. We've got 7 competitors, Heat 2. The track is now clear at the bobsled start for Simi Adegbo, Nigeria. Sled and track from the bobsled start. Adonna Johnson, stand by, please. Representing Nigeria and first on the ice, Simi Adegbo. Joey King on the brakes. Heat 2, North America's Cup, Race 5, 2-woman bobsled. Got 7 competitors. Today's race. Reverse order by rank, so we should see quite a few leader changes. Make our way down through these competitors. Egbo, top speed 77.3 miles an hour. Comes out of curve 11, heads into the Olympic curve. Little tap out of the Olympic curve, puts her high in 13. Keeps it under control, just hitting that wall slightly, sliders left out of 13, and then again in low point. Across the finish line with a 54.95. 54.95. Combined down time, 1 minute, 4.896. Track is now clear at the bobsled start for Donna Johnson, Team Jamaica. Sled in track from the bobsled start. Agnes Kempiel, stand by, please. The track representing Jamaica, we have Adonna Johnson, Shauna Mills on the brakes. Come down through 1, 2, 3, second ahead of the pace. Excellent line out of Sunny, curve 4. Last run, they did a 53.46. See if they can top that for the second run. 53.46. Little tap through that 10-11 straightaway. That affects her downtime. Comes to that Olympic curve. Little high in 13, puts her right into the wall. Big hit. Sliders left. Out of 13. 73.5 miles an hour. Crossing the finish line, 53.34, 53.34. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 4.680. Team Jamaica. Track is now clear at the bobsled start. Agnes Kempiel, Team Thailand. Sled in track from the bobsled start. Riley T-Jack, stand by, please. Track, we have Team Thailand, Agnes Kempiel. Start time, 5.89. 5.89. They need a 54.48. Hold on to their position. They're about a second and a half ahead of that pace. Come down through 1, 2, 3, 4. Now into Cutthroat. 5 and Snowy. Good line out of Snowy. What's the speed? 79.2 miles an hour. Still up about a second and a half. head through that 10-11 straightaway. Great line right down the middle through the 10-11 straightaway. Maybe a little late out of 11. Puts them high in 12, now 13. 73.8 miles an hour through low point. Crossing the finish line, 52.72. Combined downtime for the Team Thailand, 1 minute 4:05:04. The track is now clear at the bobsled start. Riley T-Jack, Team USA. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Sin Rong Lin, stand by please. The track representing the United States of America, we have Riley T-Jack and Fossum on the brakes. Start time 5:90. They're ahead of the pace by 0.3 of a second. Last run, 51.98. They need a 53.06. Hold on to their position, not drop any spots. Head down through the labyrinth, 80.9, call it 81 miles an hour. 81 miles an hour. Coming out of curve 11 now. Whoa, real high out of 12. Wrangling that sled through 13. He's able to keep it right side up. Crossing the finish line, 51.73. Combined downtime, 1 minute 4:3:71. 1 minute 4:3:71. The track is now clear at the bobsled start. Sin Rong Lin, Chinese Taipei. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Kim Yuran, stand by please. The track representing Chinese Taipei, we've got Sin Rong Lin, Wei Ching Cheng on the brakes. Start time, Chinese Taipei team, 5:94. They're 700ths ahead of the pace. They need a 51.91. Hold on to their position, not drop any spots. Our current leader is Riley T-Jack. That combined downtime of the 1 minute 4:3:71. They've fallen back now. They're behind the pace by 1/10 of a second. 80 miles an hour through that 10-11 straightaway. Real late out of 11. The sled has gone over out of 11. There's going to be a brief hold on the track. That sled's still sliding around in the track. It's going back down. Stay clear of the track. 2-minute warning, 2-minute warning. Kim, you ran at the bobsled start. 2-minute warning. The track is now clear at the bobsled start. Kim, you ran. Team Korea. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Kristen Banowski, stand by, please. We're down to our final 2 sleds for Heat 2. North America's Cup race number 5, 2-woman bobsleigh. In the track representing Korea, Kim Ran, Yeon Unji. Start time 5:82. Make their way down into the labyrinth, 81.6 miles an hour. They need a 52.75 to hold on to their position. They're almost a second and a half ahead of that pace. 9 out of 13. Still about a second and a half ahead of the pace climbing that final curve of the track. Downtime, 59.8. 59.8. Gives them a combined downtime of 1 minute, 4:1.94. One sled remains. The track is now clear at the bobsled start for Kristen Banowski, Team Canada. Sled in track from the bobsled start. Bringing down the final sled for Heat 2. Kristen Banowski, Eden Wilson on the brakes, Team Canada. Start time 5:70. They had the fastest run from Heat 1. Hold on to their top spot. They need a 51.22. 0.4 of a second ahead of that pace coming out of curve 6. Great line out of 6-7, 81.3 miles an hour into the labyrinth. Right down the middle of the 10-11 straightaway. Beautiful run. 0.3 of a second ahead of the pace. It's coming out of the Olympic curve, curve 12. Through Dinger, now slingshot, 14. 78 miles an hour out of slingshot. 1,500ths ahead of the pace. Crossing the finish line, Kristen Banowski, Eden Wilson, Canada, 51.06. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 4:1.78. After 2 heats, your unofficial top 4 in 4th. Agnes Kempiel of Thailand, combined downtime of 1 minute, 4:5.04. In 3rd, representing the United States of America, Riley Pijak with a 1 minute, 4:3.71. In 2nd, Kim Uran, Korea, with a combined downtime of 1 minute, 4:1.94. And your leader after 2 heats, from Canada, Kristen Banowski with a 1 minute, 4:1.78. It's a 5-minute warning, 5-minute warning. Our first 4-man for 2, that's going to be Reese Peters, 5-minute warning. Spectators, please refrain from leaning over any fence or barricade that surrounds the track. Certainly no snowballs at or around the track. It's going to be a 2-minute warning for Reese Peters at the bobsled start. 2-minute warning. Spectators, I will not remind you again, you'll be removed from the park if you continue to throw snow at or around the track. Take a big old step back from the track. The track is now clear at the bobsled start for Reese Peters, Team Australia. Sled in track from the bobsled start. Adam Edelman, stand by, please. First on the ice for Heat 2. It's four-man North America Cup Race 5. We've got Reese Peters, Tyler Cohen, James Van Dyke, Eden Dark on the brakes. Start time 6:42. 6:42. Make their way down through that curve 6. Nice line out of 6-7, 80.8 miles an hour. Headed into the 10-11 straightaway. Great line through the 10-11 straight. Now out of 11. Line out of 11 and 12. The Olympic curve. A little high out of 13. Tapping that wall. Sliders left. Across the finish line with a 52.45. 52.45. Combined downtime 1 minute 4:8.90. The track is now clear at the bobsled start for Adam Edelman, Team Israel. Sled in track from the bobsled start. Shane Pitter, stand by, please. Representing Israel, we have Adam Edelman, Zach Gordon, Evan Greenberg, Ragnar Sturgis on the brakes. Start time 6:73. Go through 1, 2, 3, now 4. Excellent line out of Cutthroat and into Snowy. Track conditions today much different than they were yesterday. All the wind and snow, it makes for a different driving experience. These pilots have to adapt, take home one of those top spots. Second heat, reverse order by rank, just like the two-woman bobsled race. Reverse order by rank. So our fastest sleds from heat 1 will go at the end of heat 2. Team Israel crossing the finish line 52.14. Combined down time 1 minute 45.07. The track is now clear at the bobsled start. Shane Pitter, Team Jamaica. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Hit him at Palakai, stand by please. The track sliding for Jamaica, we have Shane Pitter, Tyreek Buckner, Jeffroy Dowdy, Radane Arscott on the brakes. Start time 6:51. Just the brakeman pushing that sled off the block. Good line through Cutthroat, now 6. What's the speed? 81.3 miles an hour. 81.3 into the labyrinth. Lines through 11 and 12. Now coming out of Dinger, 13. 80.4 miles an hour into low point. Small tap, sliders left, then right. Downtime for the Jamaican team, 51.65. Combined downtime 1 minute, 43.48. Track is now clear at the bobsled start. Hit him at Palakai, Team Thailand. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Brady Mercer, stand by please. The track sliding for Thailand. Hit him at Palakai. Start time 5:32. Bringing it down into the labyrinth at 80.6 miles an hour. Now through that 10-11 straightaway. Excellent exit out of 11. Let's see how they do the Olympic curve. Good line through 12 and 13. Hugging that sliders left up through low point. Going to be crossing the finish line with a downtime of 50.71 seconds. Combined downtime 1 minute 47.5. The track is now clear at the bobsled start for Grady Mercer, Team USA. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Cyrus Gray, stand by please. Representing the United States of America, Grady Mercer, Pete Brett, Caleb Fernal, Jace Johnson on the brake. Top speed, Grady Mercer 81.4 miles an hour. And through the 10-11 straightaway, getting a little sideways through that 10-11 straightaway. They need a 57.2. They need that 57.2 to hold on to their position. About 0.6 of a second ahead of that pace. Now coming out of 14 at 78.9 miles an hour. Climbing curve 15, crossing the finish line 51.3. 51.3 combined downtime 1 minute 40.16. The track is now clear at the bobsled start for Cyrus Gray, Team Canada. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Shane Fisher, stand by please. The track representing Canada, Cyrus Gray, Luke Puto, Chris Holmstead, Cesar de Guzman on the brake. Start time, the Canadian team, 5.26 seconds. Come through Cutthroat, they're quarter second ahead of the pace. 83.4 miles an hour. Excellent. Right down the middle through that 10-11 straightaway. Beautiful exit out of 11. Little tap out of 12 sends him high in 13. Looks like he's able to get it under control with just a small tap out of curve 14. Still about a second ahead of the pace. Going to cross the finish line with a 49.03. 49.03. Combined downtime 1 minute 38.79. Track is now clear at the bobsled start for Shane Fisher, Team USA. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Jay Dearborn, stand by please. Representing the United States of America, we have Shane Fisher, Trevor Chase, Tim Monroe, and CJ Steele on the break. Start time 5:33. Make their way through Sunny, that's curve 4, into Cup. Now curve 6. They're 1800ths behind the pace. They're going to need to find some speed somewhere in the lower loop. Last run did a 49.73. They need a 49.06 to hold on to their position, not dropping to the top. Good line out of 13. Back by 6,500. Not going to be enough, but where are they going to land in the standing? Crossing the finish line, that puts them in second at this point, with a combined downtime of 1 minute, 3:09.77. The downtime was 50:04. The track is now clear at the bobsled start for Jay Dearborn, Team Canada. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Edson Indalachi, stand by please. In the track representing Canada, got Jay Dearborn, Brandon Lowen, Obiade, and DeAndre Clark. Start time for the Canadian team, 5:26. They need a 49.75 to hold on to their position. They're 7,500ths ahead of that pace. Headed into the labyrinth, 82.9 miles an hour. Call it 83. 83 miles an hour is the exit curve 11. Excellent line through 12, 13. You're still ahead of the pace by 7/10 of a second. Little slide coming out of 14. Small tap sliders right. Downtime for the Canadian team, 49.08. 49.08. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 3:08.12. Track is now clear at the bobsled start. It's in Ingelachi, Brazil. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Jeff Gadbois, stand by please. In the track representing Brazil, we have Edson Ingelachi, Edson Ricardo Martins, Rafael Souza da Silva, Eric Gilson Viena Geronimo on the brakes. Start time for the Brazilian team, 5:09. Come through Cutthroat, now curve 6. They're 86 hundredths ahead of the pace. They need a 49.53 to hold on to their position. Last run, they did a 48.59, a 48.59. See if they can top that as they come out of curve 12. Now 13. Almost a full second ahead of the pace as they exit curve 14 at 81.9 miles an hour. Going to cross the finish line with a 48.55. 48.55 gives them a combined downtime of 1 minute, 3:7.14. The track is now clear at the bobsled start for Jeff Gadbois, Team USA. Sledding track from the bobsled start. Suk Young Jin, stand by, please. We are down to our final 3 sliders. These were the 3 fastest sleds from Heat 1 on the ice. We've got Jeff Gadbois, United States of America, Colin Storms, Brian Soso, Hakeem Abdul Sabor on the brakes. Start time 5:09. 5:09. They need a 48.63 to hold on to their position. They're behind the pace by 0.04 of a second. Now, first, second, and third from Heat 1 were all within 1/10 of a second. This is going to be a close one. The sled has gone over out of 14. There's going to be a brief hold on the track, 2-minute warning, 2-minute warning. Young Jin at the bobsled start. 2-minute warning. Track is now clear at the bobsled start. Suk Young-jin, Team Korea. Sled in track from the bobsled start. Chris Horn, stand by please. Down to the final two sleds. For Heat 2. In Korea in the track, start time 5:14. They need a 48.64 to hold on to their position. They're behind that pace by 0.07 of a second. Current leader, Team Brazil, Edson Guingalati with the 1 minute 3:7.14. Korea coming through the 10-11 straightaway, 83.2 miles an hour. Falling a little bit further back, 1300ths now as they come out of curve 13. They're still holding on to a lot of speed out of 14, 82.7 miles an hour. Is it enough to take that top spot? Downtime, Team Korea, 48.81. That puts them in second place at this time with a combined downtime of 1 minute 3:7.31. Track is now clear at the bobsled start for Chris Horn, Team USA. Sled in track from the bobsled start. Bringing down the final sled for Heat 2, Chris Horn. United States of America, Adrian Adams, Josh Williamson, Hunter Powell on the brakes. Start time, Team USA, 5:03. They're 1300ths ahead of the pace as they head through Cutthroat, now into 6. 1200ths ahead of the pace, into the Labyrinth, 83.5 miles an hour. This is a close one. This is going to be a close one as they come through curve 11. Excellent line. This is some beautiful driving. Chris Horn out of 13, now 14. What's the speed? 83.1 miles an hour. They're 1500ths ahead of the pace as they climb that final curve of the track. Downtime, Chris Horn, 48.55. That tied with Brazil's second run of 48.55, but Chris Horn's first run was faster by 17 hundredths. So combined downtime, Christopher Horn, Team USA, 1 minute, 3.6.97. Taking that top spot unofficially at this time. We'll recap after our two heats. Your unofficial top five in fifth. We've got Jeff Gadbois with a 1 minute, 3.8. In fourth, Jay Dearborn, Team Canada, with a combined downtime 1 minute, 3.812. In third, Team Korea, Suk Youngjin, with a combined downtime of 1 minute, 3.731. In second, Team Brazil, Edson Binjalachi, with a combined downtime 1 minute, 3.714. And in first, after two heats, Christopher Horn, Team USA, combined downtime 1 minute, 3.697.